Good evening, this is Nick from VolumeProfileTrader.com on Wednesday, October 26th, and this video is going to be covering Apple, and I want to get right into it. You can see the daily chart of Apple pretty much year to date. Apple's definitely up year to date, unlike most stocks, so that's a positive. But Apple is, the chart, if you just look at this is just ugly. It's an ugly looking chart, despite the fact that it continues to move higher. If you look at the 200, the 100, the 50-day moving average, they're all moving higher. The 20 is pretty much flatline, but that's fine. It's trended lower, during times of the year. Likewise, the 50. But, Apple, it still gives you plenty of trading opportunities. It's not, back in 2009, 2010, it was very easy to hold Apple because what it would do is it would go up, it would trade sideways for a couple months, and it would go up again. And that was the pattern. And generally speaking, we got that at the beginning of 2011 too. We got a long sideways consolidation pattern and then a nice move higher. And now it's gotten very volatile, due to the market conditions, but it's much harder to trade, and it makes more sense to bet, to place your bets on Apple when Apple's at the extreme ranges that it's seen. And right now we are not there. Does that mean that Apple's not at an opportunistic trading, level? No, I think there is opportunity in Apple. I don't think we're there yet. But you can see that Apple right now is holding above its 50-day moving average. That hasn't really mattered except for right here when it broke out to the upside. Every other time it's penetrated that 50-day moving average. So if you consider it relevant, then take these most recent lows and use that as your point of reference. If Apple drops below that, have your stop trigger you a sell order. And let's say that happens and Apple, it takes you out with the stop, and then right away it trades higher. Well, you know what? You're just using discipline. You can always buy Apple back. Sure, you're going to get, pissed off, but that's trading. And, it's great in hindsight to say, oh, I should have bought there and sold there. But all you can really do is manage your risk of the downside versus the upside. And if you focus on that, you'll be in this game a lot longer than you think. So let's zoom in on Apple on a 60-minute chart to see what's really going on in this smaller, congestion pattern and see what the opportunities look like. Okay, here we go, 60-minute chart of Apple. This was our island reversal pattern. Back last week, we had our gap lower, and now we're seeing some sideways consolidation. Really, I can draw the line all the way over. And you can see this is a huge level. It was the gap up, and then it gapped lower, traded up to those levels, rejected, traded up again, rejected. So what's to say that it won't get rejected again? Well, let's go from the seller's point of view first. First of all, it's worked. Well, definitely it's worked 2 times. Here, it really, obviously it didn't work because it gapped higher, but sellers did sell into this level until it had the gap higher, and clearly that gap, those levels weren't supposed to hold because, well, they aren't. And what we're seeing now from a bullish standpoint is, well, we have a higher low, and we had a pretty decent close today, and remember, it's off the 50-day moving average. So what we're looking for in Apple is, will this 405 to 407 level, will that be resistance? And we sell back off to the bottom of this range, 397, basically under 400 but above 395. Or will we see more follow through and perhaps a breakout? Now, the most important level, in my opinion, of this entire range is $400. And let me zoom in once more. Alright, let me draw a line at $400, and that is our point of control for the range. And you can see, if you just, look at what's happened, when we've been at those levels, really, in all honesty, you could have, short term, of course, you could have made money when this thing went either way of $400. And that's important because it shows that, it's a level of significance. And when I'm seeing what we're seeing here, which is, a little triangle pattern and sitting currently above 400, I see probably the rest of the week playing out to be somewhat important to Apple in terms of a trading opportunity. We see what's going on, rejection from the lower levels and rejection from the higher levels, and they're pointing to an apex with price. So it's hard to tell what's going to go on right now, but if you sit on your hands and wait for Apple's trading opportunity to come to you, I promise you can make some money on Apple. So this is Nick from VolumeProfileTrader.com, analyzing Apple.